Okay, Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to all of my dear sisters, inshallah, for our second Ramadan program. Last year, alhamdulillah, we managed to do Surah Al-Mulk, and this year we are looking at Surah Al-Hujurat. Now, I know that in Ramadan, we tend to have lots of different things pulling at us. So we have lots of different courses available, different lecture series. My one recommendation would be make sure you do something related to Quran, if not anything else. You know, just make sure that you are at least doing something to increase your or better your relationship with the Quran this Ramadan, inshallah. And then whatever you choose to do, just make sure that it's something that you continue with. And I pray to Allah to give us all the continued motivation and the consistency to keep up whatever we have targeted or aimed to complete this Ramadan. So may Allah make it easy for all of us. Before we actually start today's session, I do have just a few introductory slides that I'd like to go over. So let me just show you, for example, the next slide is all about maximizing your benefits. So how do you make sure that you're getting the most from this class? First of all, I would say try to attend the live sessions. This is really crucial, because what you'll find is in the live sessions, you'll be able to see me, and hopefully I think the presentation is slightly different. The layout is a bit different this time, so that you can actually see a larger version of me. Because sometimes I will be showing you things, or I'll be showing you the mouth model, or I'll be showing you how to pronounce something. And for that, it's really important that you get to see the way that I'm moving, for example, my mouth, or how I'm showing you something on the mouth model. With the live lesson, you can pause and rewind at any time. So if you think that you've missed something, or you want to just hear something again, you should be able to pause and rewind even the live lesson. We will try to start on time, inshallah. Sometimes there may be technical issues, you may have to bear with us, but other than that, inshallah, the aim is to always start at 11 a.m. UK time. I recommend for the sessions to have a mirror. This will help you. For example, if you watch something that I do and how I pronounce something, you may want to then check yourself. It's very different if you look in the mirror, or whether you just feel or think that you're saying it, because when you actually see yourself, sometimes you realize that, oh, I'm not actually doing it right, and it helps you to fix that. We do recommend note-taking. This is both for the Tajweed and the Tafsir aspects of this course. It's really important, because often we do attend lectures or seminars, and you come away and you do forget very quickly what you've learned. So the idea is lots and lots of practice and lots of review. And if you've taken notes, the review bit becomes easier, because it will, it means that you've got something to go back to and refer, and help to consolidate that knowledge, inshallah. If you have any questions regarding anything in class, feel free to post your question in the YouTube chat. If it does not get answered during class time, please do keep an eye on the Telegram group. Okay, so we will answer questions on the Telegram group. If you do not get to ask the question on the YouTube comments, you can also ask on the Telegram group as well. That will be checked, inshallah, on a daily basis. And finally, of course, we want you to enjoy the journey. Do not take any pressure on trying to learn everything. We have students coming in with many different abilities and varying backgrounds. We've got beginners, intermediate, advanced level. We will try to provide something for everyone. If you find that something is going over your head, or it just seems like too much, don't worry about it. Please don't feel like you have to take it on. Just take and absorb whatever you can. Okay, and try to just focus on that and implement that, inshallah. And finally, just expectations from our side. We do have a request that we make in every session of ours, and that is please to respect the privacy of your teacher. The content and our courses are for only sisters. So in that regard, we ask that you please select a quiet location in your home, which is out of view of any male members of your household. So that they can't see the screen, okay? We also ask that you use earphones or headphones if you can. This would be ideal, because I mean, the ideal scenario is we wouldn't like any brothers to listen in, especially if I'm reciting. I want that recitation only for sisters' ears, okay, inshallah. And we request that you take no videos, pictures, or screenshots, please, of either the teacher or the presentations or the student. So please do not take any kind of screenshots or pictures, and please do not share any of the content. Okay, alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khairan for that, and jazakumullah khairan indeed for your cooperation in this. We really, really appreciate you going and making that effort for us. May Allah make it easy. May Allah make the journey easy. Let's get started, inshallah. Bismillah. Okay, so as usual, whenever we start reciting from the Quran, we always start with the Isti'adha. So that's what we're going to start with today. It is a command that actually comes in the Quran itself, that when you start reciting, start with the Isti'adha. Okay, we always seek the protection of shaitan first. So let's have a look at this first part, and let's see if we can figure out or correct ourselves in regards to certain phrases. Okay, so we're going to look at the first word first, which is this one here, which is the, and let me just zoom in for you so you can see a little bit clearer. We're going to look at the word a'udhu first. Okay, so what I'm going to ask is if I can get Sister Farhat, if you can just unmute yourself and just be ready, inshallah. With this word, there are a couple of things that we do need to think about. Okay, and one of them is we need to remember the, actually I need to zoom out, the Hamza. It starts off with the letter Hamza. Now Hamza is quite a relaxed letter. You don't need to squeeze anything in your throat. It comes from the bottom of the throat, and it's a light letter, which means we just say okay. So we say a'udhu, we don't say we don't start squeezing straight away. At the very beginning, you should be nice and relaxed. Now, I think Sister Farhad's actually had a few technical issues. So Sister Salma, if I can ask you to unmute yourself, please, and then inshallah, when I ask you to read, you'll be ready, inshallah. So with this, we start off with the Hamza, which is nice and light. And then we have the Ain coming after. Okay, so after a relaxed, light Hamza, when we say we then have a squeeze in the middle of the throat for the Ain. Okay, it's a light squeeze, it's not a very tight squeeze. We just squeeze at the beginning and then we let go. A'u, a'u, a'udhu. If you could try that, please, for me, Sister Salma.
A'udhu.
So also what you want to make sure is, with the Hamza, you don't want to prolong it too long. So you don't want to say a'u, a'u. I'm over exaggerating it, of course, yours wasn't that bad. But you want to try and keep it one count. A'u, a'udhu.
A'udhu.
That's much better. Jazakumullahu khairan. When we pronounce the ain with the dhamma, you'll notice it does have a mad waw with it. Okay, so this means that this part of this word, when we say ya'u, this is prolonged for 2 counts. So it's double the time of the hamza. So we don't say a'u, we say a'u, a'u, a'udhu. Okay, jazakumullahu khairan, Sister Salma, for that. Then we finally have the dal at the end. Now the dal is a letter that we, first of all, you have to make sure that you are clear on the makhraj. Okay, so with the letter dal, if you look at this, if you see me on the screen now, the letter dal is made with the tip of the tongue. So we use the tip of the tongue, which is this part here. Okay, the very tip. Where does the tip of the tongue go? The tip of the tongue is going. Now, often the mistakes that people make is they make the tip of the tongue go to the lower teeth, right? You want it to go, you know, your upper teeth, your upper 2 incisors, the tip of the tongue is touching there, okay, with the tip of the tongue, right? Touching the bottom edge of the lower 2 incisors. So it's not on the inside, it's actually touching the top surface of the tongue, kind of like that, okay? The tongue doesn't need to stick out so much, but you're using the very tip, okay? It's a light touch. The light touch is actually quite important because it means that you're not gonna, because if you press too hard, you end up pronouncing it slightly incorrectly. So you'll end up going like do. It sounds a little bit different. So it's got to be a light touch and allow the sound of your voice to keep coming. A'udhu, a'udhu, a'udhu. Okay. The next word we have here is billahi. Now here, often what happens here is we get sometimes a very common mistake is saying billahi, bil. We don't pronounce the kasra sharp. So to make sure that you pronounce the kasra sharp, first of all, you need to remind yourself what sound does the kasra make? And it makes an E sound. So it's ba, kasra, B, B. So you want to make a B sound, not a B sound. Okay, so you say the B, hear yourself say the B, then move on to the lam. Okay, so where's my pen gone? 1 second, here it is. The ba is joint with the lam. So you say billahi, a'udhu billahi. When you join with the lam, be careful not to stop the sound of your voice. So don't say billahi. You see how I kind of stopped that kind of stop that I made in the middle? You don't want to be doing that. You want to keep the voice flowing. So Sister Salma, if you could say that after me again, please. Billahi.
Billahi.
One more time, please.
Billahi.
Not bad, mashallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Allah bless you. I know you have a little one with you as well, but mashallah, dedication, alhamdulillah, Allah make it easy for you. Now, after the lam, there is a mud alif actually after the lam. It's not written in the mushaf, but it's around about here. Okay, let me just enlarge that so you can see it. So you can see here, there is a small, normally we pronounce a mud alif after the lam. It's not written in the mushaf, but we always pronounce it with the mud alif. Okay, so we do prolong the lam for about 2 counts. We say billahi. We don't say billahi, right? It's billah, billahi. And throughout that pronunciation of that word, at no point is my sound stopping, right? It's billahi. It keeps going. A'udhu billahi. Sister Farhad, I hope your connection is a bit better today. Would you like to unmute yourself?
Yes,
Okay,
sorry about that.
alhamdulillah. That's okay, no worries, alhamdulillah. If you just repeat after me, billahi.
Billahi.
Yes, so what I would say is when you are joining with the lam, you're putting quite a lot of strength into the way that you join with bil. I want you to be gentler. When you get to the lam, just be a little bit gentler with it. Billahi.
Billahi.
Not bad. Let's use both words together. A'udhu billahi.
A'udhu billahi.
Not bad, mashallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. We then have the next word here, which is it's originally the word min, and then what's happening here is the noon has got where's my pen gone? Here it is. The noon has got a fatha on it to make it easier to join it with the sheen. And I'm sure Sister Zuleika, Allah bless her, will be discussing a little bit about that to you. But you're joining the noon with the sheen. Now here, when we say mina, they are both light letters. So you don't be careful not to say me and be careful not to say no. Okay. You want to say me, na. Don't rush this. Okay. The best way to fix your recitation and the best way to recite the best of your ability is to recite slowly. Okay. When you start to rush, that's when you start to make more mistakes. So here we say mina. When you rush, it's very easy to say mina, right? Me, na. It's kind of gone off. Mina. When you join the noon with the sheen, we hold the sheen for a bit. Minash. Now here I want you to really pay attention. First of all, when you join with the sheen, you do not use the lips. So the lips do not come out. We don't say minash, right? Kind of like that. I'm trying to really over exaggerate so you can see. The lips stay very flat and relaxed because the sheen is all about what's happening inside the mouth. It's the middle of the tongue that's being raised. And that's where you're thinking about where the sheen sound is coming from, not from the lips. Minash shaytani. If you could try that, Sister Farhad.
Minash shaytani.
If you could do that one more time for me, please.
Minash shaytani.
Okay, so what I would suggest is, when you say the noon, because whenever a letter has a fatha, we say you have to open the mouth, right? So you notice even the jaw will move slightly down. At the moment, yours is quite fixed. So you're going minash, right? When you say na, I want you to kind of feel that your mouth is open, not just your lips, but your jaw's moving slightly down. Mina, try just the mina.
Mina.
Yes, and also let the sound of your voice come out Ra at the moment it's kind of staying towards the back. Mina, na, na, mina, na. Push the sound so it's coming out between the lips. Mina.
Mina.
That's a little bit better, mashallah. Good. Now let's try joining that with the sheen. Mina shaytani.
Mina shaitani.
Not bad, mashallah. Not bad at all, alhamdulillah. So you'll notice how Sister Farhat, mashallah, when she joined the sheen with the noon, she's held it for a bit. She said, Minash. So she kind of held it. This is known as a rahawa quality that the sheen has. If you have never heard that term before, don't worry about it. If you have, then alhamdulillah, it's an opportunity for recall for you. So Minash, you hold it, then you say the shay. Minash shaytan. Now the ta here is a heavy letter. So you notice I didn't say mina shayta, I said ta, ta. How do we make this heavy sound? Well, what you do is, one of the easier ways to maybe think about it is sometimes when you go to the dentist and you're lying back, and when the dentist says, for example, say ah, you'll find that what happens is the back of the tongue, because you're kind of leaning back, the back of the tongue is raised a bit, and then it kind of pushes back a little bit. And so when you say ah, that's the kind of ending sound you want for the ta. So we say ah. I mean, if this is the first time and you want to have a go, you can join in after me and say ah ta, ah ta. So you want to rhyme it with the ah and have that ah ending, because the ta, one of its qualities is that we have to raise the back of the tongue and the direction of the voice is elevated. Let's hear it again, Sister Farhat. Mina shaytani.
Mina shaitani.
Yes, just be careful again with the noon when you're joining minash, no, not no, na, na. Minash shaytani.
Mina shaitani.
Jazakumullahu khairan, alhamdulillah. Then we come to the end of this word. We have the noon joining with the ra. Okay. Now this ra, because it is what we call mushaddad, it has this shadda on top. It means that there are actually two ra's here. One of the ra's is being joint when we say nir, and the other ra is the maftuh, is the one with the fatha at the top, or I think in some parts of the world it's called zabar, right? It has the fatha at the top. So both ra's here are both going to be read heavy. Ra is one of those letters. It's not always heavy. Sometimes it's light. In this case, it's heavy. Okay, maybe inshallah we can just have that discussion on a later date, inshallah, about the cases when the ra is heavy and cases when it's light. But here, just you'll have to bear with me for now. Time is limited. Here we make both ra's heavy. Ash-shaytanir-ra, near-ra. When you join with the noon, both ra's are heavy. So you go from the ni to the ra, near. You're at a heavy ra already. So you're not saying near, you say near. And the other thing that you're doing is you're not stopping your voice again. Just how we saw with billahi, we kept going with the sound. Near ash-shaytanir rajim. At no point do I stop my sound again. Okay, so it's ar-rajim, ar-rajim. If you could try that, Sister Farhat, for me, please.
From ash-shaytani.
Yes, you can do.
Ash-shaytanir rajim.
You've just got a little bit of the trilling, right? Sometimes it helps if when you raise the tip of the tongue for the makhraj of the ra, try not to press against it so hard. Try to be a little bit more gentle with it, and see if that helps. Ar-rajim.
Ar-rajim.
Yeah, you've lost it, mashallah. Good. That was better. Alhamdulillah. Well done. Let's try the whole thing together now, Sister Farhat. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Not bad. The ra can be a little bit heavier. You said it better before, so let's try. الشيطان الرجيم.
الشيطان الرجيم.
Good, mashallah, alhamdulillah. That's better, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. There's just one other thing I would say, Sister Farhat, and that's the dal. Your dal is slightly on the heavy side. I want to say ooh.
So I said that again, sister.
If you just say the dhamma, ooh,
Ooh.
right. At the moment, what's happening is your back of the tongue is is raised a little bit too much. I want you to bring it down a little bit. Ooh,
Ooh.
ooh. Again, that's better. Now to say ooh, dhu,
Ooh. Vu.
ooh, dhu.
Ooh. Vu.
It's at the moment the back of the tongue is also pushing back. So what I'll do is, inshallah, maybe if you have time after the lesson, I will practice this with you. It's just because of the time I do have to move on to the Basmallah, but inshallah after the lesson. Jazakumullahu khairan. Alhamdulillah, everything else is mashallah good. Mashallah, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Let's move on to the next part. So that's the Isti'adha now done, the seeking refuge from the shaitan. We then move on to, because we are going to start the beginning of a new surah, we always start a surah with the Basmallah. Of course, there is one surah that we don't, but for nearly every surah in the Quran, except one, we always read the Basmallah at the beginning. So we will be practicing this as well. If we look at the first word, Bismi. Now, what I'd like to put you to pay extra attention to is the two kasras. We have two kasras, one on the ba and one on the mim. How do we say this? We don't say be. We don't say bisme. We say bi, bismi. Sister Salma, if you could try this, please. Bismi.
Bismi.
Yes, one more time, please. Bismi.
Bismi.
Yes. So you notice how Sister Salma, mashallah, stayed on the scene for a bit. Okay. Scene is one of those letters when it has a sukoon, we let it run for a little while. Okay. It's again a bit like the sheen that we saw previously. Bismi. We don't just say bismi, bismi. You allow the scene to run and then you go on to the meme. Now the meme is then joined to the lam. And we've seen this in the name of Allah above in the previous, in the Isti'adha that we did. So the again, the next part is read exactly how we saw before. Bismillahi, Bismillahi. Sister Humaira, if you could have a go at that for me, please.
Bismillahi.
Yes, the only thing I would say is to be careful of is you don't want to make the B too long. So the B has become prolonged, right? It's elongated. So you want to keep it as just B, one count. B, bis, B, bis, Bismillahi.
Bismillahi.
Yes, mashallah, much better. Jazakumullahu khairan. Allah bless you. Then we join the ha at the name of Lafzul Jalala with the ra. Okay, so we've seen this before in Ash-Shaytanir Rajim. We see it again here where we are joining the he with two ra's. Again, both ra's are heavy. So we say Bismillahir Rahman. Okay, so both ra's are heavy. And then the second ra, when we say ra, we can't just stop there. We've got to actually carry on because it's joined with the ha. Now this ha is produced from the middle of the tongue. You know, when you, for example, when you clear your throat and you go a very light kind of where you feel the most movement is happening when you clear your throat, that's the makhraj of the ha. Ha, ha, ha. It's from the middle of the throat, okay? So where you say, for example, aha, 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 this is from the bottom. You got to be higher than that position, okay? So you can feel where you say, aha, aha, aha. Move a bit higher in the throat, squeeze a little bit. It's a breathy letter, so you do hear the breath with it, okay? And it's one of the letters that we prolong, okay? So we say, ar-Rahmani, ar-Rahmani. If you could try that for me, Sister Salma.
Ar-Rahmani.
Good, mashallah. You could tell that Sister Salma there used the middle of the throat. The makhraj was good. And she kept, I could hear the air coming through, and she also prolonged it. Okay, she got the timing right, which is good, alhamdulillah. This is important. So don't rush the ha, stay on it for a bit, then go on to the meme. Okay, Sister Farhat, if you could try for me up until Ar-Rahman. Bismillahir-Rahmani.
Bismillahirrahmani.
Not bad, mashallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. And then this time we have the ni, in Ar-Rahmani, the noon at the end is being joined again. And we got the same thing happening in terms of the ra. Both ra's are heavy. Okay. And then we have after that, now this time the ra is not joint with the next letter. Okay. So this is where we have to be careful, because after we say ar-ra, we're not joining with a ha. So we don't want to be saying ar-rahim. We want to say ar-rahim, rahim, rahim. They are two separate letters. Okay. So be mindful of this, because this is a common mistake. People kind of say, or sisters will say ar-rahman. They get used to joining the ha here with the ra, and then they do the same thing later. So they say ar-rahmanir rahim, right? But it is ar-rahmanir rahim. Sister Farhat?
Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Not bad, mashallah. Jazakumullah khairan. And just to, one last thing, if I may, Sister Farhat, the memes at the end. So at the end of the Isti'adha and at the end of Ar-Rahim, because we are stopping and we're pronouncing it with the sukoon, we're not saying Ar-Rahimi, we're saying Ar-Rahim. The meme is a letter, we call it tawassut. It's a letter where you have to make sure that don't stay on it for too long, but don't cut it quickly too short either, because otherwise sometimes it's not heard. So you've got to make sure you say not Ar-Rahim, because that's too short. Ar-Rahim, too long, right? It's somewhere in the middle. Ar-Rahim. Try that, Sister Farhat.
From Ar-Rahman.
You can do, yes.
Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Okay, Jazakumullah khairan. If we go back to the beginning and you just recite one last time the Isti'adha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Not bad, mashallah. Good effort, alhamdulillah. We just need to practice your dhal, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Farhat. Sister Salma, if you can recite the Basmallah with me, please. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan. Alhamdulillah, that is the first session now done. Inshallah, I will see you all next time, inshallah, tomorrow at the same time. Keep practicing. We are going to actually stop the stream. So I will stop the stream now. For those of you that are going to continue and will benefit from Sister Zulekha's tafsir session, please just stay on. I will stop the stream. If you refresh your YouTube page, and then inshallah, we will start a new stream for Sister Zulekha, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.